All right, g'day, hi, and welcome. All right, I'm out here at the Cafe 1870, just leaving there now, departing. What a great night! Oh my God, I love this. I love this place. It's so wow. It was okay. I was definitely the most energetic guy, speed-wise, playing what I was playing and whatever, like I normally would do. So there's nothing new that way. The crowd was, strangely enough, the song I thought that would be the hardest to sell was the one they enjoyed the most, I think, was the Rasputin song. Now, they enjoyed all the songs, but I was definitely the only guy doing metal there tonight. I tend to overdo it a bit, for that, but I didn't care tonight. I just really wanted to do that. However, I might have brought the songs out about a week too early, I think. I was miscording a few and stuff like that. I could have done better than that. But the weird thing about tonight is everybody that went on stage tonight messed up. Like it was stops and starts, and it was just the strangest thing. And there was a group of people in there, very interesting. They were basically guitar luthers. In this little town, there's a guy. He's world renowned. They had a lady from Holland, a girl from Holland. There was a guy from Toronto. There was a guy from Japan. He got up. He was completely smammered. And he went up and did a couple of songs, or kind of particles of songs, because he was so drunk. But he did well. He sang one in Japanese. He actually did good. I wish he would have finished it, But he just, I'm sorry, guys. My performance is so bad. I should have filmed it, but I didn't film much tonight. I just wanted to take in the night. So it goes against my YouTube principles of just documenting the world. But, I only really documented myself tonight and the host for one song. I don't know, it was such a great night. But there was a little bit of everything. I was definitely the most lively guy, but the host, he's pretty lively to begin with. You'll see, like, probably one of his songs anyway. He's got a little bit of a beatbox thing going with it. He's got what they call like a jam man meets RP. What is it? Anyway, it's basically like a band in a box. Like you could play something, it'll record it a little bit, and then you could play over it, and you could do like so much with it. And that's what he has all the time on there. So it started the night off on a good pitch. And strangely enough, talking about Johnny Cash, there was actually a lot of Johnny Cash songs. I guess everybody was feeling the same way tonight. There was a Bob Dylan too. It was a little bit more mellow than, but the girl that went up from Holland, she rocked pretty good. Like she was a little sloppy or whatever, because she wasn't sure of the lyrics and whatever. So she messed up a few things that stop and turn the page or whatever, and you get that. But everybody was hooting and hollering. I think she got the most applause tonight. The thing is like, it's not who's the best. That's not what it's about at all. It's just people enjoy the atmosphere. They enjoy stuff like that. But she did really good. So there was some dancing. My dancing girls were there tonight. I didn't dance with them, but I was talking to them for a little bit. They walked in just as I was going on stage, and they were hooting and hollering for me. So that was really cool. Oh, hang on. So many manhole. I've never seen a small town with so many manhole covers. It's like, it's impossible here. Especially with that many potholes. It's really dangerous. But anyway, so how did the night go for me? Well, it went extremely, extremely well, in my opinion. But I could have played better. There's no doubt about that. But I did have a bit of a sing-along with the La La La, with the Rasputin song. People enjoyed it. They were like, I could hear people laughing and enjoying it. Like, they're like, oh my God, this is great. You know what I mean? Not as much hooting and hollering for me as I would have liked, but I was definitely we were going from Bob Dylan, Mr. Tambourine Man, to kind of like me, and then, Flotsam City, whatever, Johnny Cash stuff. But it was upbeat Johnny Cash, so I'm glad she did that, because I really, really was hyper, like for the genre. I know I played too fast tonight, but it's not until I examined the footage to see what what was what. But I know I stumbled on a few chords on the Nemo song, and I stumbled on a few lyrics throughout them. But I think for the most parts I did pretty good. I'm not beating myself up on it at all. It's like, it's a jam night. The sound wasn't bad. It came back to me pretty good. It was a little bit. Somebody said, well, there's a blown monitor there. So somebody said it was a little bit fuzzy. So sounded really good, but it was a little bit buzzy. Especially when I put the high octane screaming and yelling there, what tends to happen is, as you would guess, you distort the PA a little bit, right? But otherwise, a lot of fun. I had so much fun tonight. So this is my second jam night of the season, and I gotta say, yeah, I gotta get the cobwebs out again. But good lineup to oh man. But weirdly enough, not everybody did 3 songs today. There was a lot of people just doing 1, 2 songs. You know, me, I milk it. I take all 3 songs, right? But considering the money I'm paying in the gas just to get back and forth, yeah, you know, I'm gonna make it worthwhile. But yeah, it's 11:30, quarter to 12 right now. Fantastic couple went up on. Well, the guy who went up earlier, but the locals tend to jam with each other, so you see the same people go up a few times. This guy, he's really, really good. I'm going to have to jam with him one day. Problem is when you're not a local, you don't get the time to work on the stuff, so when they go up, they're very well rehearsed, and they've probably played these songs together quite a few times, right? I tend to do one-take wonders in pretty much everything in my life. But the thing is that, the Call of the Mountain song, the guy was like, Call of the Mountain, he says, yeah, that's catchy too. You know, the host, he was like, he liked it. But again, I'm the loud guy, right? I'm doing the screaming and hollering, high energy stuff. But the tempo was pretty good. It was a little slow for some stuff. The Japanese guy was absolutely, it was his birthday, so they were getting him drunk. So he kept going up. He goes, last week I was really horrible because I kept forgetting the songs and apologizing for forgetting the songs. And he went on, and every 2 seconds he would stop the song. And the thing is, though, the guy sounded really good. He goes, I'm Japanese, so I'm singing in English, so it says, I'm not going to pronounce the words right, it's going to suck and whatever. Never do that stuff, self-defamation. I always say self-defecate, but self-defamation. Yeah, never do that when you're on stage, but when you're drunk, you expect people to do stuff like that a bit. But the funny part was he sung he goes, I'm going to sing a really sad Japanese song. And he's like, I don't want to sing it because it's too sad. And I'm like, well, you're committed now, buddy. Come on, just sing the damn song, you know what I mean? And so he sang it. It was like, man, that's really good. I don't know what the hell he was singing, but... And then he, popped a few words in English in it, and you get the idea. It was probably a love song of some sort. But his guitar playing was good. Now, this guy... I think there was 6 or 7 of them in there, maybe. Or maybe not quite that many. Maybe at least 5, anyway. That were in this guitar building course. And the guy that they build with, I'm going to have to get his name for my next kind of, road back home kind of blog. Claire was there. She wasn't going up. She was the sound woman tonight. Greg came in a little bit later, but he wasn't the sound engineer tonight at all. He was just basically, just showed up. I guess when he's dressed up, the way he's dressed up, it's usually you can tell he's coming from a gig. And he's a jazz guy, so he could be playing an afternoon gig. You know what I mean? You never know what the jazz guys, they play strange gigs. I'd love to be able to just do afternoon gigs. That's great. You get home early, you're in bed. You're in bed by 9. You know what I mean? Wouldn't that be awesome? Got a big truck. Holy geez, slow it down, buddy. It'll be tight to my arse too. But anyway, no, I went up. I was going to do a little bit more of a monologue, but I didn't know how many people were going to be up there. And I didn't want to tie up too much time. I love interacting with the audience. There's no doubt about that. But the thing is when you interact with the audience, you got to watch out because that'll chew up all your time, right? So, holy geez, guys. The guy with the brights behind me, right? I'll drive slower if you don't fuck off. You know what I mean? Sorry. It's I hate people that do that. You know what I mean? They have to, I'm on a highway that goes for the next 400 miles and, the guy's 30 feet behind my bumper. If a deer jumps out right now, we're both dead. And you're blinding me. You went to jam on the brakes. But anyway, I'm not a dirty driver like that. It's his problem, not mine. But anyway, he can go around on the next passing there. But anyway, so tonight I did, I started off with Nemo. I love the way I introduced it. I think it did really well there. I think I sang pretty good. I stumbled on 1 or 2 words and I got a a little mix up in the chords on one course or whatever, but otherwise not too bad. Like when you're practicing at home under no pressure or whatever, and it's not like I was nervous or anything at all. And you got a couple of pretty girls in front of you. You're okay with that. There's no problem with that. But the thing is that it's like you only got 15 minutes. You really only got like a minute and a half to sort out the guitar sound and the vocals. And I found the vocals a little hard to hear tonight too. Not too bad. Like I'm not going to use that as the excuse because I could hear them well enough. But I couldn't quite get the stage blend between the guitar and the vocals quite right for myself until about midway through the first song. So I guess Claire was, adjusting things while that was going on. So once that happened, then okay, everything's good, right? And so when I did that song, I think I carried it pretty good. But what's weird is when you sing through a different mic and a different PA, because of different frequencies, like, okay, you got, if you don't know electricity, it's okay, but there's a thing called frequency, right? And it's in hertz, right? And basically, the average wall plug is 60 hertz, or 60 cycles a second, right? At 125, 120 volt, 117 volt, whatever, 110 volt, whatever it's going to be on the wall. And this is an old building, so who knows what you're really getting. This is why I think you get so many stage gremlins there, is it's probably really old wiring. So what happens is, if you're at home and you're practicing under 60 hertz with your PA system, and then at 125 volt, okay, you're going to get your 60 hertz, but you're going to get a different voltage, which is, and I know people are going to call me BS on this, but it actually changes your pitch just a little bit, enough to throw you off. Not enough to say that you can't, like you're an octave higher. But it's the same thing you have with a telephone. When people say you sound different on the telephone, it's because you actually do. When you're on a telephone, because they have to drive the power a lot higher, even though it's phantom power, to drive it, they have to go to a higher hertz cycle. And when they do, it actually raises the pitch of your voice ever so slightly. Barely enough to notice, but enough to say that, oh my God, that's deer particles all over. Wow, that was gory. It's like half a deer there. That must have just got hit. That's why I don't drive like the fool ahead of me. It was probably him that hit it. I can still smell the deer guts. Yuck, they must be on my tires. That sucks. Yeah, but anyway, sorry about that. A little bit graphic. But the other thing is that when I was singing the first song, I think I pulled it together vocal-wise pretty good. It's just a little bit messy on the first chorus or the second chorus that I did. I kind of tripped over my lyrics a bit, but not bad. Nothing that anybody that didn't know the song would notice. You know what I mean? Nobody knew the first song at all. I think that was pretty clear. But they responded. I mean, everybody always responds positively there. Just, I'm the loud guy, right? So I take pride in that, don't get me wrong. So I didn't know if it was going to be too much or whatever, but I really wanted to do these songs tonight. Now, the Rasputin song, I was going to do a really bad Russian accent to introduce it, but I thought, well, it's different if I have the whole crowd to myself, you know what I mean? But I introduced it the way, I got to sing a song about a really, really, really bad man. So bad I shouldn't even mention him, but then I can't sing the song, so I fix no problem, you know what I mean? And then, I want you to sing after me, la 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 la. And goddamn, they did. They didn't dance well, but my dancing girls they were jigging. They weren't dancing, because whatever. But people were really enjoying, even the older people. You got people from 18 to 80 in there, right? And you can see them shaking banging their heads a little bit with the Rasputin song. And then some people recognize the song. One guy, he's really good. I feel so bad I forget his name. He was just on stage, you know what I mean? And him and I talk and everything like that. He had his guitar painted up by a local artist. Fantastic mural on it. But anyway, he goes, that was a Boney M song, wasn't it? I said, yes, but there was this band in Finland called Teepublic that did another version of it, and I did that version. He goes, oh yeah, he says, I can tell, but he says, that one was really fun. He Yeah, you did good on that one, eh? Because that scary kind of, like I say, you could tell a man was singing it. You know, it was a very masculinely sung. I think I would say botched the lyrics, but I stumbled on a couple of words a little bit. I wanted to add a few extra things in it that I do at home, but sometimes what happens, and you'll notice this yourself, that you'll be on stage, and let's say you do like 8 bars or something, but then on stage you do 4. You shorten it, like you just automatically shorten it up, and sometimes that throws you off a bit because you do it subconsciously. I don't know why you do it. It's like this is something I just caught on myself today. Don't race to the next verse. You know what I mean? Give it a breathing room. You know what I mean? And it's going to be interesting because it's so strange when you're up there and you're concentrating on. Like I was really trying to concentrate on balancing the guitar with the mic, right? So strangely enough, I almost don't hear myself when I'm singing. Like I do and I don't, like because I'm concentrating on it, but I don't really hear what I'm doing. Like I hear the pitches, but I'm not hearing what I'm singing, like lyrically. So it's brain memory muscle memory sort of going on the lyrics, and then it's like, did I sing all the lyrics I needed to or not? I think I did, but at the bridge piece, which is not in the Boney M song, but in the Carissa song where he sings about this outrageous man that everybody wants, that calls for the demand, to remove this outrageous man from louder and louder. You can see everybody in the audience just kind of laughing. It looks like they were having a lot of fun with it. So that one is staying in the genre. That's definitely a third set song, whatever. But I had fun on that one. I wish I would have done it a little bit cleaner, a little bit better. I watched the chords on it a little bit, but I think I had a good, definitely a good drive to it. But again, everybody tonight had some little thing that they messed up, and but I didn't start and stop a song like there was 3 people tonight that started and stopped the songs because they didn't know all the lyrics. But they were just like, well, I'm just going up because my friends want me to, and okay, and you know what? It was just fantastic. Like the guy, like halfway through, I think it was Mr. Tambourine Man or whatever it was. Halfway through, he forgot the lyrics, and he had to scroll because the host brought a laptop, so you just punch in the lyrics. Then sometimes the whole lyrics don't show, and you have to actually scroll. So he stops the song to scroll. I mean, everybody claps, whatever. And then he goes back to it. I'm like, that's awesome. The girl, not Olga, something along that line, from Holland. She had a cute little accent or whatever, but she really did really well. She wasn't quite loud enough, and the mic was a little too tall because she was kind of a little short, but she done really well. Like her playing was good. Her playing was really good, but she had to do the same thing too. Like, wait, gotta get the rest of the lyrics, It's like, so everybody's just hooting and hollering and clapping and whatever. They even encored her because she was only going to do one song, and they encored her to do 2 songs. And it's like, well, I don't know anything, what I mean? It's like, it's kind of like Johnny on the spot, so to speak. Well, yeah, here, do it. And you're like, what do I do? But I enjoyed it. You could tell everybody was. Then there was this one girl. She went up and she did Dream On. She did a Nirvana tune, and she did something else. Very, very nice vocals. Like, when I hear people like that, it's like, okay, I got to bring my game. I can't be sloppy like that. And mind you, the second jam night of the year, okay, if I'm a little sloppy, whatever, Oh, no. You're just mush porcupine. Ever notice when I make these videos, I'm always telling you about all the dead stuff on the road? That was a big-ass porcupine. That had flattened a tire. I thought that was a bear. He's half squished anyway. So that's one dead deer, half a dead deer. I don't know where the other half was. I guess in the ditch or plastered on somebody's truck. And a half squished porcupine. Just thought I'd share that with you. Whenever you're driving late at night, play the roadkill game and try to keep tabs of all the dead roadkill you see on the road, and just try not to smash into it. Try not to add to it, but see if you can keep track. It keeps you awake, keeps your mind sharp. Whatever. But anyway, then I did The Call of the Mountains by Evoluti. I kind of introduced it a bit. I wanted to do a little bit more of a monologue, but again, you're only up there for 15 minutes. I typically average about 11 minutes or so. With 3 songs. That's why, it's like, you gotta be careful because you really don't want to go over. Now, the Japanese guy today, because he was drunk and it was his birthday or whatever, he was up there probably 25 minutes, whatever. It was just, again, he was a bit of a. But the fact that he was such a disaster, sitting there just talking about how horrible his performances were going to be, it was actually really, really freaking funny. He didn't realize it. Like it's like it worked out really well. But his Japanese song, I wish I would have heard it from beginning to end. And it's like you just started getting into it, then he'd stop. It's like, oh, geez, dude, that's sounding good. You know what I mean? It was really, really cool. But I mean, like, that's what I mean. You had Johnny Cash tonight. You had some heavy metal. You had some folk songs. You had some country songs, and you had a Japanese song. There's your variety show right there. That could be beginning of a joke. A metalhead, a Japanese guy, and a country singer walk into a bar. Ow, you think they would have noticed? See how many you got that one. All right, so anyway, I go into the third song after the Rasputin song, and people seem to really enjoy the Rasputin song. They weren't quite as loud as I always get a bit of like I say, the genre shock, where when I stop, it's like it takes a second for people to kind of kick in. Whoa, you know what I mean? Because they don't know the songs well enough, right? So they can't sing along, so they don't know when it ends. So it's just kind of like, it ends. You know what I mean? So, it's done. Then you get your clap, so there's always a bit of a delay. And some people get nervous on that because it's like, well, it's like, oh, well, the song ends. Oh, okay. But if they know the song really well, they hoot and holler because they know exactly when it's going to end, right? So tonight, strangely enough, the song I saw, absolutely nobody would know whatsoever. I didn't think anybody would know any of these songs. But the Call of the Mountain one songs, I think that one went over really well. I kind of sloppied on some of the lyrics a bit, but I think I got the choruses really, really good. And especially the last chorus, that's the important one, right? Where you got to hold the note at the end. And I don't think I jumped any chords on that one. A little bit, yeah, I did jump a couple of chords on that one. Maybe it's just the excitement, the hyperness, whatever. Just getting the cobwebs out. The last time I was on stage there, I think I played, guitar-wise, I played everything really well. This time, again, I might have rushed, and I talked about this before, like, don't bring out songs before they're ready. I thought for sure I was, like, 100% going to nail it tonight. But again, maybe I didn't. Again, because you don't know until you think you done something on stage, and you're like, okay, well, I messed up here, I messed up there, and then when you listen back, it's like, I didn't. I thought I did, but I didn't. Or you just kind of jumped a chord a bit, and you weren't quite as, the notes weren't quite accounted for. You might have slurred a word, but you got it right, and it's like, okay, well, it still sounded good. Okay, good enough. So you catch yourself, because it seems like things happen in slow motion when you're playing live, right? Not that it does, but and again, tonight I was really, really, I liked it. Tonight was a great night. I wish I would have played just a tad bit better myself, but definitely nothing to be ashamed of at all. What I was really worried about was getting the yodeling right and the choruses right on the Call of the Mountains. I think I can't wait to hear how that one came out. I might have played. The biggest problem I think is I don't know. It's hard to say whether I played too fast or not. Like I say, it takes about 3 songs to really get comfortable on stage, and especially if you're playing faster songs. It typically takes 3 to 8 songs to really set in. When you're playing live. That's why, like on a first set, I usually play the easiest stuff possible. Like these are third set songs mostly. Nemo could be a second set song for sure. But the Call of the Mountains that's like something you would start a third set with, or even end a third set with. Rasputin would be definitely third set period. No ifs, ands, or buts. There's just no way you're gonna start like the night out on that unless you're at a metal genre with a full band. But strangely, there was a person in there that knew what a hurdy-gurdy was. So I introduced them to some folk metal, yeah. I had a really good night. I just like it. And then again, my girls were there, so that was fun. They were dancing around a bit, and very friendly. I didn't dance, I should have danced, but I was just like so taken in by the night. I was standing beside them or whatever, but I was just like, no, everybody's just having a good time. There's one lady, she's a fantastic singer. She only goes up once in a while, though. She was dancing beside me there. Yeah, that was quite nice. I didn't mind that. talking to a few people and whatever. That bass player, the real tall, big guy that usually has to stand up, he was there. He jumped on stage for a couple. It was just such a good night. Claire didn't go up. I asked her if she was going to, but she wasn't sure because it was, getting a little after 11. She's like, well, I don't want to keep Riley, the bartender, don't want to keep her up any later than we have to, right? So it's like, okay. But, I mean, crowd-wise, I was number 3, okay? And the problem is I don't like going too early, but I had a hard time. The way that whoever filled out the friggin', list, your list to go up, it was all over the place. It's like, okay, well, who's where, So I signed something and it just happened. I was in the third in the spot. I was like, well, I'll put my name here. I don't know where that puts me, but because it wasn't numbered, it was just kind of like a free-for-all on a piece of paper. So I ended up number 3. I would have been probably better off as number 5 or 6 like I normally do, because I usually tend to want to be more rowdy. But I did have I was in a bit of a sweet spot crowd-wise. I would say there was probably over 50 people in there tonight at more than that. Probably maybe even 60 or 70 at the height of it. I was probably somewhere 40 to 50 people. So I like that. I don't like it when there's like 10 people in there. My ego can't handle that small number. We've got to get those numbers up. Like if I'm going to hoot and holler, I know the echo chamber of having lots of people in there, you tend to get more hooting and hollering, which makes people enjoy things a lot more. But I think everybody enjoyed everything. It's usually, strangely, what happens is, because again, I'm performing for a lot of musicians, right? And when you perform for musicians, they do tend to sit there quite quietly. The non-musicians are usually the ones making the noise and dancing and all that stuff most of the time. I tend to like to be the guy to make noise, because I know what it's like when you're on the stage and you hear that woo and all that stuff. It just makes you feel good, right? So no matter what they do, I always try to make a little bit of noise right at the end of it. Even the people that aren't that great, which tonight everybody was great. Even the worst guy tonight was still entertaining as hell. The Japanese guy, I would love to hear this guy sober. I perform sober because, again, I got to drive home and all that. The amount of animals running around on the roads and, driver's license and all that, but, yeah, there is again, I got to watch my videos and learn from them again, because it's like, okay, well, everything sounded good. The blend wasn't too bad. The vocals, I think, were very clear, projection-wise. I didn't peek out the mic with the rasping. That's what I was worried about. I didn't want to blow out the monitors if they had the mics cranked up too high. What I'm doing, there was a psychopath in Russia long ago. I'm singing like that, like that metal stuff. But everybody liked it, though. Everybody seemed to really like that one. The song, I figured that would be way too heavy for tonight, but I didn't care. I really didn't care, because I really wanted to get those songs played. Now I can go back to the old stuff again, maybe in the next one. But I like playing newer songs, songs that are less than 10 years old. The only problem is nobody knows them. But the one thing about the Call of the Mountain song that I enjoyed so much was, like the vocals on it. I think, it really resonates through the place. It fills in the place, you know what I mean? And if you could get, let's say 6 songs in a row, by that song everybody's hooting and hollering and crazy, which is great. That's what you want, right? But not everybody wants that. Most of the people there still play like the country, the folk, the lighter stuff, and I'm okay with that. Better stay on the road. It's a genre jump, right? So we went from Bob Dylan to Nightwish, Teresa's, and Evoluti. That's what I did tonight. Now next week, it depends on my finances. Might be a couple of weeks. So even if I'm gonna hit this every 3 weeks, like right now, I got the Thunderbolt in me now for the next couple of days anyway, to a week. every time I play live, it just makes me. It's a religious experience. We'll just say that it really makes you feel good about yourself. It really does. I love giving that stuff to people. And again, even if you're not everybody's genre, that's not what the jam nights are about anyway. But now, I got a good idea of how far I can push it. You know what I mean? The Nemo song, had I done it a little bit cleaner, like not tripped up on it as much. But again, the overall was good. That was a good song. Like I said, if I had a little bit more, whenever I get a gig to myself, it's going to flow into place. But it also is telling me that, you're going to have to do a little bit more work to make sure that you're not playing too fast. But like I say, what I think gets a lot of people is that you got 15 minutes. You know what I mean? And you feel rushed sometimes, so it's hard to relax. So time your songs before you play them live, so you can remove that from your head. And I knew, between 11 and 13 minutes is probably somewhere where I'm going to end up. Maybe 12, break the difference, right? So you're good. But I usually like to add maybe 30 seconds to 45 seconds to a minute, sometimes even a minute and a half of talking. Why? Because I like to bring in the audience, right? That's very, very important that you interact with your audience. Sometimes, even though that's probably why the Japanese guy was so hilarious to watch, because it's just all he was doing was interacting with the audience. He was barely singing at all. Like out of 25 minutes, it was just him just basically, talking about nothing. You know what I mean? It was the funny, but it was just funny how he was doing it. It's like. But, people cut slack because they know, not everybody's going to be a stellar performance. So you're never going to get a boo off stage. To get booed off the stage, you got to be extremely bad. You'd have to be, really, really bad. Like, for example, you'll never be able to do, you never say never, because you never know what's going to resonate, what's not. But like I say, Teresa's is now... Rasputin is now going to be a staple in my set lists. I'm glad. I'm so happy about that. It's like, especially when you have musicians say, that was fun. You know what I mean? Because musicians are always the hardest to impress, especially musicians that are not in your genre. You know what I mean? That they're in a much lighter genre and they're enjoying it. You know what I mean? When you have people 80 years old enjoying, a battle metal song, from Teresa's, that's pretty cool. I'd love to do either Homeground and Beyond, but I think that might be too much for there, or battle metal. I'd love to do battle metal acoustically there. Just because of the sing-along at the end, la, 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 But the nice thing about the Teresa's song is the words are really easy because it's all la, la, la's, right? So that stuff does really well because it engages the audience. And I got to start working on better sing-along, not just... oh, hey, they know the song, so they're going to sing along. I mean, that helps too. Like I say, if I would have went with the B set tonight, the Take On Me, Hungry Like the Wolf, and Dancing in the Dark, yeah, I'd have people singing along because they know those songs. They've heard them a million times. And that helps. That helps. It really does. But then they never get to hear anything new, right? And... I like when I get introduced, oh, our good friend Reg is back, here we go, It's like, thank you, what I mean? But the whole point I'm getting at is that the gamble is does the new stuff resonate or not? A lot of times it does, if you play it well. So focus on playing it well. Like, I won't be doing Screamo in there, I won't be doing King Diamond in there, I won't be doing, like speed metal in there. I know I won't get away with that. I do play extremely fast though. I've had people tell me that a lot. Like when I start getting into the gallop mode, they're like, wow, that's fast, man. Like when I start shredding on the guitar, usually that's when I get my hooting and hollering. Is like when I start building up into the shredding like that, where it's like, okay, now I go from 8th notes to 16ths, which you gotta be careful with that too. But the idea is to give the guitar the drive it needs to get people hyped up, right? So you got to be careful with that too. But yeah, that was a good getting the people kind of singing along with it. I can't wait to hear what it's going to sound like. Because again, while I'm yelling in the mic, I can't hear the audience. I only hear that after when I watch the video, and it's like, oh, hey, people were singing along. A lot of times I can't hear it up there. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to hear past the monitor. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they're singing along or not, but I think I can hear some of them kind of la 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 la, singing that along. And then I think I did the roar. I did do the roar. I did the Teresa's roar. I forgot to say, let's go. I don't know if I did it or not. I wanted to do that before we got into it because that's the way they do it, right? And I love when he does that because that's when everybody goes nuts, right? But I didn't expect slam dancing or a mosh pit in there, but it would have been cool. I was kind of hoping those two girls were going to mosh pit for me, but I'll have to train them better. Sweethearts. Oh, yeah. But it was good to see them anyway. Yeah, they're like, oh, that was really cool. Yeah. It was like, oh, yeah. But I could hear them, woo, doing all that stuff. I could see them headbanging. Yeah, like I say, it was just such a great night. Guys, get out and enjoy life a bit. Get off the computer. I know, I make my money doing different things, and I know as a YouTuber, sorry, I thought something was about to run across the road there. I know as a YouTuber, sometimes, it's like you're so involved and constant. Like tonight, I hardly filmed at all. I should have, because you guys are going to be missing out on a lot of great acts. But it's just, I didn't want to hold the camera. I put my guitar in the CRV. It's warm enough now. I rest it, I keep it in the backseat, so I'm not worried about anybody stealing it. But it's like, okay, if it's too cold, I don't want to leave the guitar in the... Because last year I started in the fall, right? So I definitely wasn't going to leave my guitar in the vehicle while I go back in and watch. But I was also thinking, well, maybe I might not break dance, but I might dance with the girls or whatever. But I ended up just standing there at the stage listening to all these fantastic performers. The girl that went up and did the Dream On, she was very ballady. So she, but she cranked it out pretty good. I didn't get to talk to her. She seemed a little shy off stage, so I don't push myself on people or whatever. But if they're within proximity, I'll just start chatting with anybody and stuff like that. And yeah, that's usually what you get is people they'll enjoy it, but they won't tell you they enjoy it until you're within proximity of them. And it's like at that point they're like, oh yeah, this was really good. Thanks for coming out. Thanks for doing what you're doing. What's this guy going to do? I don't know if that's a Mr. Policeman or not. I hope not. But anyway, so that's the whole night. You know what I mean? Like it's just about enjoying yourself at these jam nights. So yes, I've introduced metal. I guess this would be the first what you would classify as metal songs to the Cafe 1870. Now that said, I would say the average vibe of tonight was a very blue. There was a guy went up. He asked me, and I hated to say no to him because I just knew it wouldn't go over. But he's like, do you want a guy playing the harmonica on it? And the guy's really good. He brings every key of harmonica you can imagine, right? And I'm like, it probably won't fit, and it wouldn't have. I mean, there would be no way he'd be. I mean, I would kill the man trying to, blow into a harp, keeping up with that kind of speed of song. There's just no way. Like he was a blues player, you know what I mean? Like with the harmonicas, and he was fantastic. But what I'm telling you is that you're not going to be able to keep up on the Teresa song, even the heaviness of the Nemo song. It's too different of a genre. I don't know if you'd have to rehearse a harmonica on that. He wouldn't be able to get it because well, the first one he could probably have done in E, but the second song was pretty much all in B. He probably could have pulled it off if he knew the song. And then the last one was, I guess you could say, B to E. So if he did it in the key of B, he could probably pull it off. Whatever. But the biggest problem you run into is not that you can't do it. You're just not going to know where the changes are. Because I switched a D to an A minor to a G, and then back to B B, E, and F sharp. Like, I mean, how do you work a single key harmonica with that? You know what I mean? So I felt real rude doing that, but I was just like, it's probably not going to work with what I'm doing. And I went and apologized to him after, because I said, you wouldn't have been able to fit that in. He goes, oh no, he says, you're right. You know, so, but it's just the idea, oh my God, dude, take off your brights. But it's just the idea that, there's all these people with their brights on. But anyway, it's just the idea that, you don't want to be rude to people. So when you go back after, even if they're like, okay, yeah, I can see why this guy said no. Because again, a lot of people there are going to go up and they're going to play blues tunes, stuff like that he would normally be able to fit in. And that's where, like I say, I'm out of genre compared to most people. And that's why, I get a mixed bag in there all the time. It's like some people really enjoy what I do. Some people say, this guy's too loud. You know what I mean? Other people, it's like he plays well. It's just not our venue, right? And then other people, it's like, oh wow, I wish we get more people doing what you're doing. You know what I mean? And hang on. Sorry, I kind of put my signal on extremely early here. Didn't need to do that, but I did it anyway. Go back to the high beams. But anyway, yeah, what a great night. And I'm going to be interested. Hopefully it's clean enough that, because what I really wanted to do tonight was get everything so well that when I start booking gigs, I want to be able to showcase it, so that's where, miscordings and stuff like that go against you. It's like, oh, this guy's a little sloppy live, whatever. I need to give them the best performances possible when I'm trying to book a gig. Now, I do have a couple that are really, the guitar went really well, like the You Somebody song from Kings of Leon. I thought I did that one really well. The Jeremy song, I thought I did that well. There's a few others, but it took me a while to figure out where to put the camera, you know what I mean? To get an okay recording sound out of these, out of the GoPro, you know what I mean? Like, I got the stand now, so it's not so bad. It sits in a good spot where the lighting's not quite so bad, and because if you don't get at first I used to just bring the GoPro and sit it on a chair, but then it vibrates on the chair, and like the first few jam nights that I did last year, it's like, oh, you need to put your GoPro somewhere where it's not going to be vibrating all around, or you'll never hear the song. You'll just hear the vibration of the GoPro moving around, which ruins your song even if you played it excellently well. So I don't know when I'm going to be on stage next, but because again, like right now my income's too low to be able to make this a weekly thing. But that said, I could also say that if it picks up a bit, then yeah, I'm going to try to get as many jam nights. What the heck was that? I don't know if to count that as roll killer or just a pothole. I think it was just a pothole. But anyway, that's the thing. Like the goal for me is to get paying gigs. This might not happen overnight. You have to be very persistent. Plus, not only persistent, you have to really shop yourself. You know what I mean? And that's where I'm at now, is trying to get so that I'm calling up people, emailing people right now. I'm waiting on an answer from 2 to see what's available. Getting a gig there might be harder than I thought because of the amount of people that play there. And there's there's a bit of an in-group there, which you get at pretty much in every bar anyway. Your locals that are like, oh yeah, well, you want to play next Wednesday? Oh yeah, you play whenever you want. And then the outsiders, it's like, oh well, we already booked everybody up for the next 6 months. So it can be very, very difficult to find the proper place to get fit in. Thought that was a deer. All these mailboxes look like deer. Especially this area. I'm going to reduce my speed a bit here, sorry. This area here is notorious for deer darting out at you. So the bottom line is tonight was a lot of fun, and it's a great way to research how you do. But it's also a great way to try new things and challenge yourself. That's the whole thing with the jam nights. A lot of times when you play, like, say, a 3-set list, you're looking at about 3 hours of music, right? And you know you're going to be singing for 3 hours. So you might bring out an epic song that's really vocally challenging to a jam night. But if you have to sing 3 hours, you might have to gear it down a bit unless you know you can nail that song every time you play it. The way I look at it is I have different types of set lists that I work on. I have set lists where I woke up in the morning, I didn't eat all day, and I've only been drinking water. And I got Mr. Sparkle voice, right? And I can hit every note and everything's clear. Then I got songs that you could sing with a full belly of pizza. And you drank beer and had extra cheese on it. And you still can hit all the notes. You know, so, and if you know what I'm talking about as a singer, like, it's very hard to keep your voice golden. Like tonight I had 2 Cocos. I attempted to do something good tonight with myself. I went in and the bartender there, Riley, asked her, okay, well, what do you got that's healthier than Coca-Cola? And she started listing off some teas and some of this and some of that. I said, okay, Coke it is. And at least I tried, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, maybe, you know. So she got a good laugh out of it. It's like, okay, yeah. And, but the thing is, I had one and a water. And that's pretty much all I drank. Now, when I went up on stage, I don't think I did bring my water with me. I should do that because I didn't feel like my vocals were dry though. But the thing is not to drink so much water before you go up and sing, because what happens is, quite simply, is you bloat yourself, right? And nervous, when people get nervous, they do this. They drink too much. They'll either drink too much pop and then their vocals get sticky, or they'll drink too much beer, their vocals will get sticky. They'll drink too fast, they'll get burpy. And that's always embarrassing when you're burpy and bloated halfway through the song. And I've seen a couple of people do that tonight too. It's kind of funny. And then you get, if you drink too much water, you get the same effect as you get bloated, right? So you gotta keep the whistle wet, so to speak, but don't overdo it. And that's when usually you get the best. You can run all 3 songs without running dry. Now with the Rasputin song, that's the song you're going to run dry on it because it's a harsh song, you know what I mean? You're singing like a man, you know? It's like, yeah, it's like, yeah. Oh, what do you got there? Okay. All these mailboxes, dark mailboxes with the little half-assed reflectors all look like deer about to dart out the way they're, it's all these recycle boxes. They're playing with my head. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, it was a fun night. I'm really interested to hear if there was a good sing-along on the Rasputin song. The Call of the Mountain song, again, yeah, it's, I think, you know, well, the host, he was saying, yeah, he goes, that's catchy, I like it. Yeah, because he was kind of humming the song when he came up on the stage, like, that's catchy. It's very, very catchy. Now, how did I sound on it? Did I sound like a chick? I don't think so, but I was trying to put some power in the voice, but I was trying to keep the voice clean because, again, that's the thing when you sing operatic romance metal or whatever, and you know, imitating chicks. How do you do it as a guy? Because they're usually in the upper register. The girl Anna Murphy, when she wrote that song, I mean, if you listen to her, yes, there's there's vocal dubbing and stuff on there, but she's a very high register singer. She's singing in the lower second octave most of the time when she really lets go, right? So when you're trying to do that as a guy, you got to watch you don't peak out, and then you'll literally strain your vocals and you'll blow yourself out, and then that's it for the night, you know. I saw one girl that when she was doing Dream On, she did that. She peaked out, and you could tell, like, okay, you know, like now she needs to cough. You know what I mean? When you peak out, you cough. So you got to really, really manage that, right? Now, one thing, strangely enough, because the Nightwish song with that Terja singer, the first Nightwish singer, the thing about her is she can sing baritone. You can tell because she sings She obviously has a 3-octave range voice. There's no doubt about that. But the Nemo song isn't wickedly high-pitched, so a guy can sing it. And I sing it in the lower register. Obviously, I'm nowhere near to the vocal abilities of her. What she was saying is everything has to come from the chest in the belly, or else you blow out your vocals, right? If you strain, you damage things. And tonight, like, my vocals weren't strained at all. The only thing that was kind of strained was the Rasputin song, because singing so heavier and trying to put that rah kind of stuff to it. You know what I mean? And that's the only thing that would have, if it was going to dry out my vocals, it was going to be that. But that's well within my register. You know what I mean? No problem there. So, fun, yes, absolutely. Great time, absolutely. Where the hell's the driveways? You think, lived in this town half my life. I'm 45 years old. You think I would know where everything is. In a town that's literally, you blink, you miss it while you're driving through. But no, I forget where things are. Maybe it's just because I had such a great night. Oh, it was so good. The people were so good, you know what I mean? I can't wait to go back again, but I really, really, really have to get a full 3-hour show to really shine, because, again, like the first 3 songs, you're usually still working out. You do a sound check, but you hone in the PA after about the 3rd song, right? And if you have somebody there working it for you, no problem. But yeah, I'll just finish up the video here. When you're doing that, that's no problem. But again, your best song's usually going to be the 3rd song. That's by the time the sound man gets everything, settled out. Plus, they have the house guitars that are already dialed in. Then they got to unplug that one, and then go to mine, which is a passive pickup. So then it's like, oh well, we got to reset everything. You know what I mean? So it takes a little bit. And you just gotta work with that. That's all you can do. You only got 3 songs, so just do the best you can do, right? I know I could do a little bit better, and I'm not bashing on myself at all, because again, I thought I did pretty good. You know what I mean? The thing is that, again, I gotta watch my tempo. My tempo is usually, mind you, it's hard not to play fast after the Rasputin song, because it's such a raunchy song. I love that song. I really do. I'm glad people liked it, because I'm like, if I could please a folk country blues crowd with that song, the average rocker place is going to go nuts. You know what I mean? Like, that's what these things are about. Genre crossover is always very, very hard. So I think this is the heaviest I sort of played. Not the quickest I've played. I don't know if this would be the heaviest. I know the Bat Out of Hell was pretty heavy for that place. Heavy not in his, raunchy guitar, but definitely metal acoustic was definitely probably, I don't think anybody's ever done that in there before, so that's definitely different. But very enjoyable. I really enjoy it. But something like that, yeah, I probably shouldn't have been the 3rd guy. 6th guy would have probably made more sense for what I did. But it's just the way the cookie crumbled tonight. And again, I don't really mind. I don't mind being later in the night, because that's usually when people are more. But then if you go too late, then everybody's left, because it's a work night, right? So where do you put it? Like spot number 3, spot number 4, spot number 6. Where do you put it, right? And it's a jam night. It's different, like it's not like you're, really, you can go anywhere. You can go anywhere. Had I been the first guy up after the host, he's pretty lively, so it would have worked well after him. And the girl that went up before me, again, she was doing the upper, like, strangely enough, that I was talking about Johnny Cash tonight, because saying, if someone was playing like lower key Johnny Cash, or up, low beat Johnny Cash, or upbeat Johnny Cash, you could kind of work it in, and I think the Nemo song worked in really well. I just wish I would have done it just a little bit better. I'll do it better the next time I do it, if I ever do it again, because some of these songs I may never ever play again in my life, right? I tend to, especially with a jam night, it's like I don't do do-overs. Well, I didn't get it right this week, so I'm going to play them the same 3 songs next week. No, the next time I go on, I'm going to play something else. So the thing is to try to be as least sloppy as I was a little bit sloppy tonight. But again, that's not really, oh, I was so sloppy that the song fell apart. It just, I was kind of miscording, rushing a bit, cut a few things probably shorter than I probably should have. But, again, just, it takes about 3 songs to relax on stage to the point where you can really go with it. But I was getting a little bit too obsessed with wanting to interact with the audience. That's probably why I rushed the songs a bit, you know what I mean? And again, you get up there, you try it. The more is just to see how people are going to respond to what you're doing rather than how great you do. Because, like I say, tonight was a night where everybody messed up. There was a lot of starting and stopping on the songs, which, not me. I mean, I don't do that. Like I always can improvise and carry through, even if I forget a lyric or something like that. I never stop the song. The show always goes on for me because I know, like it's just, I'm not saying I'm better than anybody else or like that. I'm definitely not saying that. But what I'm saying is that it gets to a point where you can cover it. If you don't stop, nobody notices. That's the worst thing you could ever do as a musician. When you lose your place, just do something, improvise. Learn how to improvise and then jump back in, even if you have to repeat the first verse again. Most people don't notice because unless they're really, really, but even that, it's when you cover it, don't worry about it. Like, don't worry about it. So I think like tonight was I can't wait. I can't wait to hear the GoPro. Because again, it doesn't sound the same on the GoPro after when I listen to it. It's like, oh, I played it too fast, whatever. And then I play it back, and sometimes, oh, actually, that wasn't too bad. That was about the right speed. Oh, that was about the right volume. Everything was blended better than I thought. Because you pick up on all the little nuances, a misfretting or a slurred word or whatever. But sometimes it's not as slurred as you thought, or whatever. It's not as messy as you thought it was. But tonight, I didn't think it was that messy. It was just I know there was a mix-up in the chords on the Nemo song for sure. And the Rasputin song, I think I could gerbled a couple of lines, but the important stuff I got, like, again, a bit sloppy is fine. So, but then you see these people go up and they do a stellar performance, and you're like, okay, well, it's probably because they've played this song live so many times that they're, they nail it every time. But then the next time you see them, they're going to play the same 3 songs again. Not all the time, or like a repertoire of like, say, 9 songs. So it's like this week they played these 3 songs, next week it's that, whatever. And they've been playing these songs for years and years and years. It's different when you've only learned the songs a couple of weeks ago. When you do that, even at that, sometimes you still mess up. It just is what it is. But when you weren't learned the song just a couple of weeks ago, like I probably would have been better off if I would have spent another week on these songs and just know them that much better. But I thought I knew them pretty good, like I knew them pretty good. But I again, that's the roughness there. Introducing the songs a little bit too early. So that's why you want to practice multiple songs for when you play, because when you do that, okay, say, okay, well, this week I'm going to do these 3 songs, but I'm going to practice 9 different songs. Like I say, think of it like gearing, like I talked before, 3 really slow songs or mellow songs, 3 kind of mediocrely fast songs, and then 3, rock your face off songs. And then you practice them until you nail them. And then you go out and you play them live, right? But sometimes if you rush it, that's when, the other things of, being on the stage, you've got 15 minutes, so you feel a little bit pressured, a little bit rushed. Tonight, though, I wasn't as hyper excited as I was because again, last time was the first time I was on the stage in 8 months. Tonight, I didn't have any butterflies or anything like that. Feeling a little bit rushed because I wanted to squeeze in some talking on it, but without, being respectful. Again, you don't want to tie up 20 minutes or something like that when you only get 15, right? So you want to be respectful of the jam nights. Other than that, no, I think maybe the tempos weren't too bad. I think it's the way I practice, but I think I do play fast. There's no doubt about that. I didn't feel short of wind when I was singing the choruses. So to me, usually when you sing fast, you run short on wind. And I was able to hold the note at the end of Call of the Mountain pretty good. In fact, I held it longer than I thought it was going to, at the right pitch. So, well, at least it sounded at the right pitch for me. So, maybe the monitors were a little bit brighter, but it sounded like I was in pitch with everything. That's what I was focusing on tonight, was even if you slur the words a bit, as long as the Rasputin is kind of hard to keep the pitch even, because you do kind of change a little bit in how you sing it. The Nemo song is pretty much, except for at the end when you start yelling a little bit louder, the pitch is pretty consistent the whole way through. If you really listen to the Nightwish version of it, she doesn't change her vocals that much. It's this very, like I say, operatic, smooth tone the whole way through. But acoustic live with one guy, I do add a little bit of edge at the last couple of, the last part of the song after the second verse, and try to liven it up a bit. So I put a little bit more power in the vocals or whatever, hold the notes a little bit longer, a little bit more edge to them. The Rasputin song is pretty much growling the whole way through, and, like I say, singing like a man, but it's so fun. And then when you get into the pre-chorus, you got to get a bit longer on your wins, and hold the notes a little bit longer. And then when you get into the actual chorus, it's cha 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 cha. You know what I mean? So there's a little bit more movement there. It doesn't seem like it, but actually there's more vocal dynamics in that song than there is in the other ones. Now on the Call of the Mountain, it is pretty smooth the whole way through, but it's high. It's in a higher register the whole way through. Again, I'm low. I don't have a 2-octave voice. I'm not even going to try to BS on it. I'm pretty sure you guys can just tell, your ears will tell you I don't have a 2-octave voice. But I'm in the second octave pretty much in the yodeling part, in the woo parts, whatever. And the transition on that, you have to stay in the second register, or else you have to do too much of a jump between the actual chorus and the yodeling and the woo part, right? So you got to stay in the higher register, which it's actually more even the whole way through. Even though you might hold the last outro chorus, you don't do any yodeling or whatever, and you just drive it home. Just give them the power, give them the longer notes, but you're still at the same pitch. You're still at the same. So even if I didn't nail it 100%, I think I had most notes. Because tonight was more of a vocal challenge than a guitar challenge, right? For me. Although, the easy 3-chord, 4 chords that I kind of missed up a little bit, that's a rookie mistake I shouldn't have made. That I'm like, okay, well, I'll clean that up. Clean that up. But second time on stage, I probably should have waited to about the 4th time on stage this year to do that. The thing is the first 2 or 3 jam nights of the season, you're getting the cobwebs. I mean, it's been, like I say, you go practice in your room forever and a day, but when you're practicing on, when you get out there with different equipment, you got to adjust to the equipment, you got to adjust to the room. That room is not bad. It really depends who's setting the sound. Nobody sets the sound like Greg does, because Greg knows that PA back of his hand. Claire, she's a lot better. She's done it a few times now, and she's actually a lot better dialing people in quicker now. And she did a really good job tonight. I got to say that, hats off to her. What she does is she'll set you, she'll go to the back of the room, and then she'll come back and readjust, which again, with the other people, it was a lot easier, because here's the guitar, it's set. We just turn the volume off, turn it up, but it's set. When you plug in a new instrument, you have to going from an active guitar. This is one advantage of using the house guitar, is everything is set. You just have to holler in the mic and play the guitar. Problem is, now you got to play a guitar you might not be used to. That makes a difference. So everything's always a trade-off, right? So you play your own guitar, you're more familiar with it, but they have to readjust the EQ. Again, going from a passive Dean pickup to it doesn't have the bottom ends and the mids and all the highs that I guess I better wrap this up, that the internal pickup has, like the electronic stuff like that. But my workhorse guitar came through for me again. It held tuning good. I was happy about that, even with the harder playing. But tonight, the temperature stayed stable tonight, so it wasn't a drastic change for the guitar like last time. The guitar went out a bit because it was actually cool. I was like doing, rubbing my hands all night to make sure that the warmth stayed in my hands, because you stiffen up and you cramp up when your hands aren't warm. But yeah, like tonight was good. Once we get into like butt sweating shorts weather, yeah, then you're going to hear the guitar go out a bit, adjusting to rooms. But if you're in there long enough, usually you're okay. But it's when it gets too hot or too cold or there's too much of a change, that's when the guitars get finicky on you. This guitar is really good for that. It really does hold tuning quite well, as long as you start off in tune. And it's, if it's not perfectly intonated, it's not the most, this guitar is pretty beat up too, right, for over the years, although it's in good shape, but it doesn't have perfect intonation, so there's always a trade-off somewhere with the intonation. You'll always get a bit of a wave in it. And it's not that I can't tune a guitar, it's the fine tuners on it. I don't know what the gearing is on. I can't remember. You can go look at it. But an Ibanez AEL10. If you had better tuners on it, you could just get the D in a little bit sharper, and the B would hold probably a little bit better. And the G would hold. It's usually the B and the Gs that go out, or the D that goes out on an acoustic guitar, depending on how well the intonation is, right? There's always that kind of trade-off. Like I say, one thing you can do is go to a heavier gauge strings. I think I'm playing 11s right now. They're not too muddy. But they're very stable. And the strings are less than 2 months old. Considering the last strings rotted off the guitar. They were well over like 2 years old on the guitar. Oh, geez. Oh, whatever. But anyway, I guess I'm going to wrap it up that. But guys, I wish everybody could just get that experience that I had tonight. Like, it's not my best show. It wasn't my best performance, but it was good. It was enjoyable. That's why I rant and talk about it. I don't even know who watches these videos. If you even listen to this stuff, I very much appreciate it. But, my goal is to inspire other people to do stuff. There was people up there that, again, they didn't know all the lyrics and, they were shy and whatever. But they went up and did it, and that's what people love is, that's what jam nights are about. And that's why they're so inspiring. But also you get to test yourself. So I really tested myself vocally tonight, I think, is the big test. Just hopefully it came out the way, audience participation wise, I think it was not too bad. It was better than I thought it was going to be, but it wasn't as good as I wanted it to be. But then again, maybe it was phenomenal, and I just couldn't hear them yelling back at me. Because I know somewhere in the song when I did the la-la stuff, I'm pretty sure I heard a couple of people la-la-la-ing along with it, right? And but you can't really hear up there because you're yelling like a bulldog in there or whatever. But I made it very dramatic and very fun. And, introducing the song, like if I were just to cut into the songs, play them and get off the stage, the problem with that is you don't reach out to your audience, and that's where you get the genre shock really in full effect, because they don't know what to make of it. It's like, this guy just went up there and yelled at people. Why did he do that to us? But when you go up there and say, well, this is what you're going to get right now, and you build it up. I love doing like little intros. I love how I introduced the Nemo song. I do that. I started doing that last year, about halfway through. I don't know how many shows I did last year, 19, 20 show or jam. They're not shows yet. They're jam nights. And I start doing that now. Every time I introduce a song, I like to build people into it. The idea is to get their attention and then build them into it. And so note to self, need more sing-along songs to get the people dancing. So I didn't quite get the dancing girls I wanted. But they were 3 more songs that would have had everybody on the floor. Mind you, maybe with different songs. But like I say, it's the genre jump, right? But tonight, I didn't care. I wanted to do the genre jump. I think I probably would have done better with the Aha song, the Duran Duran song, and the Bruce Springsteen song. I could almost guarantee you that would have just blown the roof off the place tonight, because it wasn't as much of a genre jump. But I've played those songs so many times, except for the Yaha song. But they are good. They do well live. But then again, you might play it there and it might not be as great as you think. You never know what you're going to get. Like last time I thought the Pearl Jam song was going to blow everybody's socks off. Yeah, they liked it. You know, they weren't crazy about it. They liked it. But the You Somebody song, I knew that song was going to do well no matter what. People like that one. The Dolphins Cry song, nobody really cared for it. Like, they were like, well, they didn't not care for it. They just, it didn't move them. They didn't know the song. And it's like, okay, well, you played it well, clap, you know, whatever. This song, you know, even though they might not have known the song, some people did. Like I said, the song, I didn't think anybody know any of the songs. But even though they don't, there was a a real good hook on the Call of the Mountain song, the dramaticness of the Nemo song, and then you had the raunchiness of the Rasputin song, and people were getting pulled in with very simple la 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 sing-alongs, right? You don't even have to know the song; you could just blah blah blah, you know, like really. And again, people say, "Oh, that was fun. That was really fun." So I'm stoked. I'm happy. There's my drug fix. You can go out and do your own other drugs, but there's no drug like playing sober. And it's not like I used to play sober or like that. I'm not a recovering alcoholic or anything like that. But it's just, guys, try it. If you're a musician, don't even get a beer the whole night. Don't get a beer. Don't drink. I know you might feel out of place, but I have no problem walking into a bar, getting sloshed and being carried out. But I also have no problem walking in and not having a drop of alcohol either. I'm good either way, as long as the entertainment's good. But I will tell you this, when you're on stage and you play sober, you'll always play your best shows sober. You always think you're better drunk, but you're not. You're just not. Even, yeah, but it relaxes me. But learn to go through it sober. Trust me, when you do this, you're going to get sharp. You're going to get really, really sharp on it. Because that's when you have no false liquid courage or anything like that. And that's one thing I noticed that last year. It's like, this is the first time I've played live without having a beer. Like years ago, I was like, okay, you know, when I was in the bands years ago, and I know I said I was going to wrap up, but again, when I'm hyped up like this, I just talk. But these are tips that you can use, you know. Like years ago when I was in the rock bands and the metal bands, that type of thing, rock metal bands, we'd get on stage, and of course, the only rule was as long as you could play your instrument, we didn't care if you could stand up, right? And of course, when you're 20-something, you know, you drink your own body weight, right? And we go out, we play, wow, what a great show, you know. But there was no way to ever know if you played a great show. You know, everybody had a good time, but there was no footage to look, say, well, we were, you know. But then I remember one night I was playing with my Hammer Diablo I miss that Hammer Diablo. I really do. I'm not saying I should have sold it. I mean, it had a twist in the neck. But if I find one in good condition for, you know, the right price, yeah, I'd love to have one of those again. But I remember I was playing, and everybody used to always compliment how good that guitar sounded. It had such a nice warm sound to it. Alder body, maple neck, rosewood fingerboard, 25 1/4 scale, Trembacher pickups or Screaming Demons or whatever they were in there. It was just such a great sounding guitar. It had the right brightness, the right wideness to it, the right timbre to it. And it just rocked people's faces off. And I remember, you know, people were like, oh, that guitar song. I remember one night I caught myself out of time. It's like, okay, you know, I'm actually drunk. You know, like I'm not at my game here. I mean, I finished the show, but it's like, I think it was halfway through the second set. I didn't touch another drop for the rest of the night. I was just, you know, I was asking the waitress, well, you want another beer? I was like, no, I'll actually take a water. I thought the waitress was going to faint. She was like, you? you never get water. Like, what, are you sick? You're not feeling good? Like, she felt my forehead. I remember that. She's like, you're not feeling good? It's like, you know, like, I said, no, I think I've had enough. You? You know, who am I talking? What have you done with Reg? You know, whatever. I was like, oh, no. It's like, and I remember the rest of the night, the third set, you know, it hit me about the beginning of the third set, and I was sloppy. And then I started to calm down after about 3 or 4 songs. And it's like I was starting to, not sober up, but, you know, the buzz was starting to fade a bit, and I started to tighten up in the sounding. Again, I wasn't falling over or anything like that, but I was just like, okay, yeah, it's time to stay on top of my game. You know what I mean? And if I was out, I knew the other guys were out too, because it's like, well, somebody's going to have to keep the timing, you know, and hold things together. We never were so bad. Like, we weren't like some of the, you know, superstar bands of the 90s that couldn't even, they couldn't even get up on stage. They were always drunk before their show. Guns N' Roses comes to mind. They had to cancel a couple of shows because they were, Slash was too drunk to stand up and stuff like that. I never want to be that guy. You know what I mean? I never want to be the guy that, cheats to people like that. I'm not saying Slash was cheating people, but I'm like self-discipline, self-control. So then what happens, and I remember in the metal band, we went up and I think I had like 2 beers or whatever before the show, and I drank water the whole night. I think I had a raspy voice or something. I wasn't singing, but the whole night I played sober, and I was just like, hey, this is good. This is good. That's when you hear your mistakes. That's when you hear your flaws, right? Okay, now I can tighten up on this. I can tighten up on that. But now we got GoPros everywhere. So now it's like, okay, you can really tighten up on things when you hear, okay, you sing flat, you sing sharp. That's the thing. When you play live, you typically, almost everybody, unless they've got perfect pitch, they typically sing flat. I'm no exception to the rule. I sing flat quite a bit. So you really have to really think ahead of yourself when you're doing that, and you have to be sharp of mind when you're doing it, and the only way you're going to do it is sober. But then when you pull it off, it's like it becomes the best drug ever. You don't need the liquid courage. In fact, it's to the point where even if people were to buy me a drink and put it at the foot of the stage, I'm not drinking it until I'm done the show, or as long as I don't have to drive anywhere that night, right? Why? Because no, and I don't want to cheat the audience. I want to give them the best I can give them, and that is more of a rush than I could ever get chugging a beer. You know what I mean, or whatever. It's that good. You have to experience it. I can't describe it. I can't put it into words how good it is. But tonight, if you can't tell by how hyper I am, probably 1 o'clock in the morning or 1:30 in the morning, well, it was we'll just say a fantastic night. So I'm going to be hyper as shit for the next week anyway. I hope I got a little bit of work next week so I can head back out there again. But I really, really got to, keep on. Hopefully within the next 2 weeks, I'll have some gigs booked. I need to get a full night on stage, because I would love to hear what would have happened had these songs been the last 3 songs of the night. I don't know if I'd put Nemo as that, because I got a lot more hyper stuff than that. But I thought it was a nice mix for 3 songs in a row. The Nemo by Nightwish, the Rasputin by Teresis, and the Call of the Mountain by Evoluti. It's a nice acoustic mix. It really is. It's powerful. It's vocal. It's operatic. It's raunchy. It's sing along. The tone and the pace are really good. You know what I mean? They build well into each other. So I thought that was a very nice mix. I don't know how I'd mix it, but if it was like the last 3 or 4 songs of the night, yeah, I'll probably drop the Nemo song way before that. Nemo, I think, would go into the second set somewhere. But yeah, it's what a great night. What a great night. And I got to shut up now, because if not, I'm never going to get, the sun will be coming up. I'll still be talking. But anyway, if you like this kind of content, make sure you hit that thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, and that would help me out so greatly. And again, I got other stuff coming up. I got some my own songs. Most of them are instrumentals right now, coming out on my Nimbit. That'll be on the channel. You'll see that coming up. What a great night. What a great night. What a great night. I can analyze forever. I can't wait to see the footage. And then tomorrow I can tell you if I sucked or not. But I felt really good. And it seems like everybody had a great time. What a great crowd. Oh, again, it would be nice to see like 1,000 times. At some point, I'm going to need to play in front of 100,000 people. I have to do it. You know what I mean? It's just I feed off of that, right? But obviously, I want to do that from a band playing originals, stuff like that. So that might be a long road to get there. But I think it's a good goal to have. Right now, my focus is, okay, I'll keep doing the jam nights once in a while as my cash flow allows me. But my main goal is to get a paying gig so I can keep doing the jam nights and get some new equipment and, get another guitar. Because my poor Ibanez, AEL10, guys, just give the video a thumbs up for that. That guitar owes me nothing. It's come through for me. Thank you, Ibanez, even though I'm not sponsored by them, for making such a great guitar for the budget. It was a $400 guitar with a gig bag or whatever. What a great piece of machinery. Does the job. But anyway, yeah, there we go. So rate, subscribe, share, comment, like, be true to yourselves, be true to others, always do the right thing, and have yourselves a great night, eh?